pleased?
Well, to a large extent, I think that the tension in the country seems to be easing up a bit, and I think that the idea, by ECZ to be able to give these updates every 30 minutes is somehow refreshing. But what just remains now are just the optics of who wins and takes the vote finally. But like we are seeing, from the ECZ, the results that are coming out, it is very clear that we're definitely going to get a clear-cut winner very, very soon.
Innocent, we have about 50 constituencies left, 106. Somewhere there have been announced. And with the current, standings, what is your analysis of possible outcome of this election?
Yeah, well, we've been told, or been taught, you and I here, as well as my brother here, ours just to analyze in terms of how the atmosphere looks like, and also giving that prediction based on our own analysis through the figures that are coming out. And I don't think that we need a magician to come through and sit on this platform to tell us to somebody maybe we say this person is the winner at the moment. If in terms of who the winner is, if we go by the figures, the figures already are pointing at HH being the person who is leading. All we are waiting for, like my brothers mentioned, is just unofficial information from the commissioners themselves. Yeah. So I think when you look at the figures that so far been announced in terms of members of parliament, it's clear that UPND is not only leading at presidential level, but they are also leading at marrying or getting members of parliaments that were, or the areas that were for the patriotic front in the past. In my analysis, I think from the time I've been following these political events, I've told people, even in the past, I've said, the issue of rigging for me really, it can be there, but again, I've argued to myself to say it's not really there. What could be my argument support here is that SN, if you, for example, you want to claim victory, you should look at how many members of parliament have you gotten, let's say, from Lusaka. Because remember, Lusaka has got the highest number of voters. Again, you go to Kobabelt as well, which has got the largest number of voters as well. So for me, in an election, for example, I want to give an example of HH, who has been losing from 2006 until where we are today. He's been lamenting all along to say his votes were being rigged in the past. And at some point, I did argue with my colleagues. I said, I think, yes, and as much as HH has been complaining of his votes having been rigged in the past, but there's something that he never managed to do in the past. And that was managing to get substantial seats in Eastern Province, which has been a stronghold for the ruling political parties in the time of MMD, as well as in the time of during the time of PF. Of course, they are still in the game, but they were unable to get members of parliament from the Eastern Province, where I come from myself. But this time around, you have seen the penetration of UPND into Eastern Province. So for me, that is a shift in which one can really say, I think there is something that HH has done some magics, or should I say, he has done his calculations very well in making sure that there will be any reasons of him going on the pulpit or going to the Constitutional Court to say my votes have been rigged. Again, let's go to Kobabelt, where he has been losing for so many years. This time around, again, he has managed to get substantial seats in Kobabelt province as well. Okay, again in Lusaka, we have seen Central has gone to UPND. Last year, it went to Margaret Manakatwe, of course, through a petition. We see Munali as well has gone to UPND. In 2016, it went to the UPND through a petition under Doreen Mwamba. Let's talk about other areas which you can talk about. Again, Central Province. We had Central Province, like you can talk about, is it Kawe Central, which the UPND have managed to get. So for me, really, it's not an issue of, yes, I know that our politicians sometimes they want to give excuses, my vote have been rigged and the likes, even when they know that they've lost for sure. But the question is, what have you done on the ground? So really for me, I think the signal, a very strong signal here, is pointing at the UPND that these, if they are lucky, they will be pronounced as winners in a few hours from now. Something that they never did in the past. So I think for me, that is my submission in as far as my analysis is concerned for now.
Yeah. Now, Mr. Perry, former government, Deputy Chief Whip Tutwa Ngulube has conceded defeat, and he has requested those that have got access to President Edgar Lungu to advise him to concede defeat. He says that, the Patriotic Front, like every other party, had results from the polling centers after, closing of voting day. And those results were suggesting that Hakainde Hichilema was going to win by a huge margin. What is your take on this, especially that he becomes amongst the list of people that are considering to just be adding up to that number?
Well, first and foremost, I can tell you that it's no surprise. Political animals have a way they behave when their territory has been, penetrated. And I can tell you that numbers don't lie. And if you've been following elections or you're a keen student of politics, you would have realized from the day of voting that this election was going to be very, very different. And having said that, and I've said numbers don't lie, and it was very clear that Hakainde Hichilema and the UPND were going to take the day. Even now, when you look at the numbers in terms of members of parliament, we look at the numbers he's leading with, there's no question about it. And yesterday, even us as the People's Initiative Charter, we asked and we called upon President Edgar Lungu to concede defeat. He appears to be magnanimous, to say, my brother, congratulations. And this trend has been there from Kaunda's time. He passed on the baton to Dr. Chiluba, and President Banda passed on the baton to President Sata. And it's nothing that is new. It's something that has been done in the past. But I think to be a generous winner, you must be able to swallow your pride. Tutwa Ngulube's statement that he has conceded defeat and that President Edgar Lungu must concede defeat is very timely. We've only got one Zambia and one nation. And therefore, governing a country is not about state house. There's a bigger picture. The peace and the tranquility that we so much enjoy must be preserved. It should never be taken for granted because somebody wants to remain in a particular position. The voters have spoken. They have chosen the Reds. The Greens are out. There was a time when the Blues were there. They chose the Greens and the Greens came in. And for me, it is just it's a question of time that President Lungu is going to come to address the nation and concede and say, well, Zambians, you've spoken. It's time for me to go home. And that is a position that is there.
Innocent.
Yeah, let me just add on something. I think is provoked me on something very important that I need to stretch. I think he's talked about the issue of you or me wanting to stay in power, even when my tenure of office has come to an end. We need to realize that SN, even at this company, if the company decides to sack me, they will sack me, and somebody else is going to come and sit here and give a very thorough and very comprehensive analysis more than I can do myself. So nobody should claim to be the only human being on earth. And my brother here is mentioned to say, it gives more joy, comrade, for you to hand over power in a peaceful environment, and then you go home and sleep.
With respect.
You become a statesman, which is very much important for me.
Right.
Why do I say so? Comrades, even, for example, if HH is declared winner today, he needs people like Arabi to go and consult from, to get that wisdom, because they've been in government for a long time. You need people like Edgar Lungu, if at all he's going to lose these elections, to go and consult from. By so doing, we are going to see that our country is going to develop. Let's look at Tanzania, for example. We've got ambitious Kukweta as well, those guys that have served before. They've served, they've made their own mistakes, but they're out of power, they're out of government. They're still serving up to now. Right. We saw during the KK's funeral here in Zambia, the people that were sent to come and represent Tanzania, it was not the current president.
No.
You know, it was the former heads of state that are being sent. So you can see that they are still serving their own nations. You can talk about a lot of people. So for me, our leaders, they should not think that they were, or they are the only presidents that were anointed by God to serve the people of Africa or the people of Zambia. There are a number of people that have been anointed to also be part and parcel in governing this country.
All right. There's a number of items that have happened as these results were being announced. We did have Tutu Ngulube, conceding defeat,
yes.
But also we did have President Hakainde Hichilema of the UPND visiting 4th Republican President Rupia Bozani Banda. And we also have information suggesting that former UPND member of the Central Committee and spokesperson Charles Kakoma, who defected to the PF, has resigned from the PF. That is the unconfirmed information as we await verification. We've tried engaging Mr. Kakoma, but he has not yet answered. But that is the report that we are receiving. We go to Mulungushi International Conference Center, the National Results Center, and converse with Virginia. Then we'll be crossing over there as the commissioners are almost coming back to deliver another set of results. Virginia, good afternoon once again.
Good afternoon once again, sir.
All right, please go ahead and give us an update of the situation thus far.
Definitely. Still here at Mulungushi National Conference Center, the National Results Center for presidential votes. Here said we just had our second session of the number of results that we're having. As was earlier announced, we will have 3 sessions today, giving us a total of 62 constituencies. We've just had the second session, which had about 45. So we have a total from the first and second session, we have a total of 45 constituencies, and now we are meeting 17 to make it a total of 62 results that are coming through. I've spoken to a few people, such as the Zambia Police Service, that has warned and cautioned parties of protest that despite the results coming through looking like it is tipping towards one particular side, they are warning and cautioning all political party supporters not to celebrate in advance before it is announced, and not only that, they should celebrate responsibly. I'm sure we've seen reports of certain people's businesses, properties being destroyed, certain entities such as political party entities being destroyed. So she's warning and cautioning people to not to come out in such a particular manner. But coming back to the events happening here at the Mulungushi National Conference Center, I must mention to you that the political parties, especially the opposition, have settled down in terms of waiting for the consolidated results. As we saw from the first session, there were tempers flaring everywhere, especially those from the United Party for National Development, wondering why results are not being consolidated after every session. However, they've been guided, and they've been enlightened of the process that all consolidated data will be given at the end of the 62 after the 62 venture receipts are after the 62 results are in. That's when they will be able to give consolidated data. But now everything is peaceful, everything is calm. I just saw that the Patriotic Front representative stepped out for a particular moment. Otherwise, all political parties, the rest are here with their representatives. As you can see behind me, the members of the press have been here for a very long time, and some of them are tired. They are sitting on the floor and just waiting for more announcements.
All right, Virginia, thank you very much for giving us, that detailed analysis of how things are going. That's that, and indeed we have seen our police spokesperson Esther Katongo issue a statement with regards celebrating, before the final vote is announced. But now, with the results that have been announced so far, it seems almost certain that the decision might not, very much be affected, even though there are these reports that have come out. But then, from our end here, we have seen some, members of the Patriotic Front conceding defeat and announcing to say that the results that they have in their hands do show that the Patriotic Front has lost this election. The latest one to have indicated that is the former Kawe Central Member of Parliament, Tutwa Ngulube, who was the government deputy chief whip, a very big position, to have been holding in Parliament on behalf of the Patriotic Front government, who has said that they have the information that the party has lost and President Lungu must be advised to concede defeat. Have you come across such information there, or is there such a conversation going on in those, wars?
Yes, definitely. Not entirely, I would say, because there's only one Patriotic Front representative here, despite that they could have two or many more, but there's only one, and that's the former PF Saka Province Chairperson, Mr. Pomunga. He's been here since morning. He's the only representative from the Patriotic Front. He still maintains that his party is leading, despite the results that are coming through. It does seem like it's tipping to one side, I agree with you. However, for him, he's still being patriotic to his party and maintaining that as more results come, they are still leading and they are still winning and they are still going to save the day. Most people in here say that, I must mention that due to COVID-19 guidelines, this particular venue has been restricted, the number of people that are coming in. So we only have political party representatives, two.
All right, we'll be trying to get Virginia back online. Network problems there. When she's back, she's going to give us.
From each, observing and.
All right, we lost you for a short while.
So we only have those.
We had lost you for a very short while.
Oh, yes, I was saying.
Go ahead.
Okay, said.
All right, we've lost Virginia for now.
I was saying, I must mention that we people that are going to be here, so we observers.
All right, we lost everything you said. Kindly repeat for the sake of our viewers.
All right, thank you very much. I was saying this numbers have been restricted due to COVID-19. So we have.
All right, we'll be getting back to Virginia in a later time and the Electoral Commission of Zambia. But Kelvin, as this update is ongoing, what do you make of these results so far? More so, what do you make of these statements that are being made and the alleged resignations that have been published so far?
Zambian politicians, at one point, now, how I wish that we can have an interview with him, or we can get what his feeling is right now, is State Council Winter Kavimba. You are aware that in these elections, he didn't participate. He talked about not having enough money or adequate people to stand on the Rainbow Party. And so we saw him, backing the Patriotic Front, but we didn't see him in the campaigns. Neither did we see him being accorded an opportunity to speak on the virtual rallies that the PF had. But at one point, during some interviews, he said there are no morality, or there is no morality in politics. Clearly, with these statements that are coming from early in the morning, we were greeted with the former Southern Province Minister, Edify Hamugari, who is also the immediate losing candidate in Mazabuga, resigning, from the PF, and also resigning from being a member of the Central Committee. As we were thinking that, okay, this will be the last, or the first and the last, we saw also, we have now seen, although unconfirmed, Charles Kakoma former spokesperson in the UPND, former member of the National Management Committee, and now what I'm being reminded is that colorful welcome event which was accorded to him, and I can, visualize that PF choir, women's choir, singing those, beautiful songs, beating those drums, and I can picture Stephen Kampiongo, Honorable Joe Malanji, Honorable Mkupa, Honorable GBM, welcoming Charles Kakoma. But now he has decided to leave the PF, and he has resigned from being a member of the Central Committee. A while ago, Tutu Angulube, former Deputy Chief Whip, also Butane Master, at one point now I'm being reminded when he said, whether you like it or not, Butane Nai Peter. What I'm also reminded is the issue or the statement released that those youths will be protesting. I'm calling on the police to break their bonds. Today, Honorable Tutu Angulube has conceded defeat, first of all in Kabwe Central, losing that seat to a woman, Mrs. Chrysosta Piri, and also talking about the presidential vote. He was asked a question. The Electoral Commission of Zambia are still announcing the votes. Why are you saying President Edgar Lungu has lost and he should concede defeat? He said immediately, the last person casted that vote in that district. We have seen returning officers in different polling stations, constituencies and districts declaring winners, and it is clear that President Edgar Lungu, His Excellency, has lost. And when he was asked, are you ready to work with the UPND? Because according to him, the UPND have formed government. These are not my words, but these are words that have been spoken a while ago by a former Deputy Chief Whip, who was also at one point a chairperson in charge of legal in the Patriotic Front. He said he is very much open to accept an invitation from the UPND to work with them. What does it mean? Maybe before the end of the day, we can see another resignation from Tutu Angulube, who has made it clear that he is very much open to work with the UPND. But clearly, if this is the trend and this is how it is going to continue, then SN will continue to have recycled politicians. But you know my stance. You know my stance. You know my stance, the way my stance has been on the breakfast shows, is that I'm into this to retire recycled politicians. And even on this platform, I can still re-echo my stance. And I know that there are a lot of progressive Zambians, progressive youths, who have embraced this vision of retiring recycled politicians in the best interest of the Zambian youths. Look at the number of youths that have, that have won seats. Right now, as we are speaking, there is a new member of parliament who has been declared as a winner from PNUP, a party that is being headed by Haiva Amududu. Kudos to them. First attempt on an election, they have managed to produce a member of parliament. Kudos to Haiva Amududu. Among the 14, it is kudos to him because right now as we are speaking, he has got a new member of parliament. He has delivered the seat. The seat he is going to have a member of parliament. Those are some of these are the conversations that we should be having. Equally in Eastern Province, we have a 27-year-old who has won who has become the Chipata city mayor. Equally in Kasama, if you check out the person that has carried the day, is a young person. The Maindas matters of today, they have been declared as councillors in Kamwala. This is how it should be. Where we are right now in mass media, a councillor, the person that will be representing, movie TV as well as ZNBC, he's a young person, a youth. So these recycled politicians, for them, I think they are giving me the vigor with the resignations that I've seen from Edify, Dr. Hamugale, as well as Charles Kakoma, I think the project is now being pushed to another level to make sure that we don't entertain recycled politicians. For Zambia to progress and move forward, I think we don't need these recycled politicians. So to sum it up, SN, I think we are yet to see more. That is just the beginning of people resigning from their positions and political parties, not only from the ruling party only. We are going to see people resigning even from the 14 political parties that participated in these elections.
The Electoral Commission of Zambia today has made two result announcements. In these two result announcements, we have seen a further increase when it comes to numbers. On the UPND leader's side, Hakainde Hichilema, when the first result was announced, today his lead was extended by around 500,000 plus votes. As things stand, as calculated by ourselves, out of 107 constituencies that have been announced so far, 1.8,071,228 votes have been counted in the favor of United Party for National Development, UPND leader Hakainde Hichilema. These are not the official results. These official results will be announced by the Electoral Commission of Zambia. What we are giving you is what we have calculated as announced in this previous sitting. Now, the Patriotic Front leader Edgar Lungu has polled 1.1 million 1,422 votes, and the difference now, Kelvin, stands at 769,806 in that range. That is the difference with regards, the two top contenders in these elections. I know we have to be going back to Mulungushi International Conference Center, for the updates on the third session, where they are expected to announce about 17 constituencies shortly. We go there now, and then join us on the other side.
It seems you're not ready.
All right. So whenever we are ready to go there, we're going to be getting to the Electoral Commission of Zambia's, National Results Center, and these results are going to be announced.
And allow the Electoral Commission of Zambia to do its job. So far, 3/4 of the job has been done, and we are quite optimistic that in the shortest possible time they will be able to conclude. We are aware there have been instances where some, due to anxiety, are going in the streets, but police have been equal to the task and have been advising them to stay away until the winner is declared. So we are still monitoring the situation, and it's under control, and police officers are patrolling.